It was Lucknow versus Delhi, a North Indian derby, but this game had a very interesting context attached to it as well. And that context featured two stalwarts, two big names in Indian cricket that were playing against their former franchises. Rishabh Pant, who had captained Delhi for numerous seasons, was now the captain of Lucknow, hosting a Delhi team which now boasted of the likes of KL Rahul, who had for 3 seasons been captain of the Lucknow Super Giants, the host for this particular match. So that was the contest, and only one of them came out with lots of glory as the hero of the match. The other one is getting a lot of criticism for a couple of decisions that he took in this match. Let's break it down. Who's the happier of the two? Without doubt, KL Rahul. He played that earlier game in Bangalore versus RCB, where he marked his territory and said, this is my ground. He very well could have done it today as well after he got another 50 versus Lucknow Super Giants, because that ground, the Ekana Stadium, had been his home ground, and he played like that. He played as if he knew every inch of that ground. A commanding 50, his third of the season so far, to ensure, and he remained not out to ensure that he takes his team over the line. What was good to note is that even though there may have been a lot of determination to perform against a franchise that let him go, a lot of determination to perform against a franchise where, in his own words, he probably wasn't loved that much, yet his celebrations were very subdued. Even when he reached to his 50, subdued celebration, just pointed to the name on the back of his jersey. Even after he won the game, he had done the job for his team, he did not seem to be having any over-the-top celebrations. Very muted, very reserved. Of course, the visual that everyone is talking about was the handshake between the Lucknow Super Giants owner and KL Rahul, and people have a lot of interest on that simply because of what had transpired in the previous season. But this was very cordial and good on the owners as well. There was no need for them to walk down and congratulate KL for a good performance, but they did that. The Lucknow Super Giants owner congratulated him. KL at the moment, of course, seemed to be in a bit of a hurry. He wanted to go on and celebrate with his team. That is it about KL Rahul and how he turned out to be the star of the show. But Rishabh Pant, on the other hand, had a game to forget. And I don't say it because Lucknow Super Giants have lost, but because of a decision that the team made that has left everyone scratching their head. Rishabh Pant, who is a top order batter, who has opened for his franchise in a game this season, who has batted at number 3 for the Indian team at the T20 World Cup, who batted at number 4 for majority of the time while he was captain in Delhi Capitals, today came out to bat at number 7. And it's not just about batting at number 7. It is actually keeping in mind the context of the game. If you had had a partnership or batting had gone on for the first 2 or 3 wickets till the 17th or the 18th over, and then Rishabh didn't come out at number 4, that would be understandable, because the last 2-3 overs to go, you could have sent a few pinch hitters like a Samad or a Miller, but that wasn't the case this time. By the time the 11th over came about, you had lost 2 wickets. Number 4 had to walk in. And interestingly, your second wicket was that of Nicholas Pooran. A left-hander had gone out. It was perfect time for Rishabh Pant to come. 1, because he was a left-hander. 2, because the game was in the halfway stage. You needed someone to control the innings. But I'm afraid that is not what Rishabh Pant did. And then you send an Abdul Samad, and then you send an Ayush Badoni, and then you send a David Miller ahead of you. Are they the same pedigree? Yes, Abdul Samad had a good game last time, and you can look at someone like an Ayush Badoni, who's also got a few 50s this season, but they are not the same pedigree as a Rishabh Pant. What is it that someone will make of the situation where you need your captain to step in and he does not come out to bat at that time? He comes in to bat at 7 where only 2 balls are remaining. I think that was baffling to say the least. If Rishabh Pant is out of form, he's down on confidence, then it was all the more reason for him to come out at number 4 and take control of the situation. If he's down on confidence, how do you get back into confidence? By taking the initiative and playing there. And that's the kind of personality that Rishabh Pant is. He's the one who takes initiative. He's the captain. He does not rely on what the management says. He takes those decisions. And that is why it becomes even more strange that for a person, for a captain who's his own man, who thinks about it, who always wants to be at the forefront. Remember, he was dropped from the Indian white ball team at one point. He did not choose to rest. Then he continued to play one series after the other, even if those series were against Bangladesh or Zimbabwe. He continued to make himself available because he wanted to be part of the Indian team. He wanted to show that he can be in form. So for a player like that you've seen for so many years, who likes to take the bull by its horns, who likes to be on the forefront and prove his critics wrong, for him to push himself at number 7 was really a strange decision. And just compare that then to what an Akshar Patel did. He is an all-rounder. He's not an out-and-out batter as Rishabh Pant is. Yet he pushed himself to number 4, controlled the innings alongside KL Rahul and took his team home. That's the difference between an Akshar Patel, the captain, and Rishabh Pant, the captain today. And the other thing that was really baffling, why he would push himself to number 7, Ayush Badoni was the impact sub. You had actually kept him out of the 11 because you probably wanted to use 6 straight bowlers when you're coming out to bowl. A lot of teams are doing that strategy, going with one batter less even if you're batting first, so that you can take an extra bowler, because a lot of time you don't need your entire batting lineup to be utilized. Today was a perfect day. Had Rishabh Pant come out to bat and perform the role that Ayush Badoni did, you didn't have to bring an Ayush Badoni in, by which you could have used a Mayank Yadav, an extra bowler, when you were bowling. Even that just doesn't add up. And then you look back at the decision for batting at 7, I think was one of the biggest blunders that we've seen in the IPL. But Delhi Capitals, on the other hand, are cruising. They now sit joint in the top of the points table with 12 points with Gujarat Titans. And I think with 6 games to go, and they only need to win about 2 to guarantee themselves a top 4 spot, I think you can pretty much say that Gujarat and Delhi Capitals have qualified for the playoffs. I think they will now be concentrating on trying to finish in the top 2, because you know that gives you an extra shot at qualifying for the final. So that's where the Delhi Capitals find themselves in. Lucknow, on the other hand, now sitting in mid-table. It's getting tougher and tougher for them. I think the KKR, which is a step down, Mumbai Indians now almost at the same level as a Lucknow Super Giants. It's going to be tough for them to qualify, because you already have 2 or 3 other teams, in fact 4 teams sitting on top of you, and Mumbai Indians also catching up. It's going to be tough for Lucknow Super Giants going forward. I think the only chance Lucknow will have in this IPL is if a Nicholas Pooran fires. Yes, Markram has been in form, Mitch Marsh has been in form, but even that won't do it. I think the fortunes of Lucknow Super Giants are directly related to how Nicholas Pooran does with the bat, because that's how much impact he has with his knocks. It's not about the amount of runs he gets, it's at the pace that he gets those runs that you set up match-winning total. So it'll be dependent on Nicholas Pooran. If out of the remaining few games Nicholas Pooran can fire, then Lucknow Super Giants have a chance, an outside chance of making it to the playoff. If Nicholas Pooran's bat is quiet, then I'm afraid it might just be curtains for LSG. Do give us a like on the video if you're enjoying our content, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today. Nikhil Naz signing off.